How about that for hello? We have a camera over here, and we have a camera over here. So if I move back, Jimmy disappears, and if I come forward, yeah, kind of weird, huh? Oops, I don't want that light on. We are going to do a little, just a. Is that better? Probably not. Anyway, this kind of a this view from that camera shows the soundboard. Of course, the microphone thingy is right in the way. Whoop. Can we? Oh, that's even worse. Sorry for all the adjustment here. Okay, let's get rid of that camera. Yeah, we'll just get rid of that one. That's too confusing. Okay, so the news of the day, of course, is the State of the Union address last night at 9 o'clock Eastern, which, being, I had to force myself to. It was, I don't know if any of you saw it. It sounded like a cranky old man that was screaming at his children. I mean, he was screaming. I mean, that's his idea of excitement and exuberance. He just screams. So he's got a frail voice, apparently, and the only way he can speak up is to scream. So that's what I don't know, but it was a 68 minutes of screaming. And, the Democrats, they get up and they get down. They get up and they get down. It's like, really? I mean, come on. You say something that you can't understand, and they all get up and applaud. And then he would mumble, and, so you got Mr. Mumbles. I don't know. So, what did we get out of it? He's basically, defiant with regard to Israel. And, that's the only democracy, okay, in the Mideast. That's it. That's all. And it's our staunch ally, and he just is trying to manage the fact that there are a couple 100,000 Arabs in hold on a second, seem to have a competition epidemic because our royalty-free sound instrumental is all those guys got up early this morning and they're making a lot of noise. Anyway, so and then you had the Republican response. So you had this young lady, 72-year-old Katie Britz. The liberal media didn't like her. I don't know. She gave her speech. She gave her response. Now, of course, you don't have any applause. So she's, she needs background music like I have. So it's like dead quiet every time she takes a breath. But she's basically. I cut out some. Here we go. So here, U.S. Senator Katie Britt, Republican from Alabama senator offered the Republican Party's response to Joe Biden's State of the Union address. At 42, she is the youngest female Republican elected to the U.S. Senate. In 2022, she was elected to replace longtime Senator Richard Shelby. He was very interesting fellow to listen to. And this lady, she's, being a senator that's serious business, in politics. And for her to be a senator, at 42, that's just spectacular. And hopefully she will do a good job, which she probably will. And she'll get reelected 12 years, 18 years in the Senate. She'll get the ropes and get to know the other senators, Democrat and Republican. Some political experts have described Britt as a rising star in the GOP, the grand old party. In her prepared remarks, Britt claimed the country we know and love seems to be slipping away. Blamed the border crisis on the current president and rebuffed Biden's economic agenda, saying that hardworking families are struggling to make ends meet. Well, all of us can probably bind to some of that. She said, "I'm worried about the future for my children." And that's why she decided to run for Senate. Now that's a scary thought. This woman, who apparently her family is doing quite well for themselves. They don't, for whatever her husband does, and I don't actually know that. One thing is clear. President Biden just doesn't get it. He's out of touch. His administration is, someone's running this government, and it's not Biden. He's like I would call an empty vessel that works. He doesn't get to the White House until 10 in the morning. Oh, God. Opposite the other guy that we used to know that would, works on 4 hours sleep. This guy works on 4 hours of work. So he doesn't get till 10, and by 4 he's done. So that's a 6-hour day. The most important guy in the free world, supposedly, and he's got a 6-hour day. And of course he takes, 3-day weekends, He's had more days off than any president in the history of the country. Anyway, so here's some actual text from her speech. I cut out, a few panels, which you can see. You can pause the broadcast. This is, by the way, welcome to Jim Wilson's live simulcast broadcast across 3 social networks. Can you imagine? This is a simulcast across 3. Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and Twitter Live. Weekdays, we're broadcasting from our studio at downtown Boca Raton, Florida. Sunny Boca Raton, Florida, by the way. Temperature is, on my patio, is 86 degrees. And it's 68.4. You can see right here. See right here? 68.4 in this little studio. So it's a little chilly. That's why I got long sleeves things on here. Oh, boy. So, join us live or listen at your leisure, because if you missed the live broadcast, you can go to, YouTube Live and look me up, and the whole broadcast. Yesterday, Marilyn told me you got to have a regular time. You can't be, freelancing on that time, because if people want to tune in, they want to be able to know where the heck you're going to be. So 9 o'clock is my time. We get Marilyn off to work. I get things cleaned up a bit, and by 8:30 I can be in here getting all my wires and stuff. A one-man band here. I got to do everything. Do the clips and this and that. So this, Trump, of course, he's got responses. He says the State of the Union address is angry and polarizing. This may be the angriest, least compassionate, the worst State of the Union speech ever made. It was an embarrassment to our country. Well, I never thought about, the world listening to this thing. Sounded like an angry old man to me. I mean, that's exactly what I got out of this. It's terrible. This is the most important speech of the year for our president, whoever the president is. And got one thing right. Yep. How about this for something that's weird? The Miami Seaquarium. You got all these orcas and whales and, porpoises, jumping up and down the water, and they're evicting the Miami Seaquarium. Oh, we're going to take the water too? They are literally, the Miami-Dade County moves to evict the Miami Seaquarium. And, they had an orca died, liver failure. The animals have been mistreated, not fed properly, in poor health. There were several, places weren't clean, Yeah. So, adios amigo. So they'll have this big facility with all this equipment, motors, and pumps and stuff, and so they'll get another operator. Obviously, they're not going to bulldoze the facility, I don't think. This Miami, apparently, maybe the county owns the facility. Okay, well, so that's by April something or other, they got to be out. I was just checking on, we're supposed to, we got a special offer from Tesla. I don't know how special it is, but a Tesla senior person reported himself as being in charge of Florida. Says, "Hey, Jimmy," this is the summation of this conversation I had a couple of weeks ago. He said, "Jimmy, have I got a deal for you? Want to turn in your car 2 months early? We will pay the lease payments for you. We will forgive them," or whatever word he used that equated to that. And he said, "We'll also give you $500 excess wear allowance, which will take care of the dent you have on the left side of your door, your driver's side door." I do. I have a dent. I told him. He says, "Don't worry about the door. We'll fix the door. The $500 will be more than enough to fix the door." Did it break the window? I said, no. Everything in the door is fine. Opens, closes. It's not out of jar, or, it's not out of position. It didn't damage the window between the door, but there's a dent in there the size of a softball. You know, and it needs to be like replaced or filled in with epoxy and polished, or I don't know how you fix it. But he says, "Don't worry about it. We'll fix it." Anyway, so just to make sure that there is, you see that 25.50 with a negative sign there? We'll go all the way across. What is that? Price adjustment. That's what you want to see when you're buying a car. And of course, everything's online, so you got, you just say, I want the long range. You get this, the long range all-wheel drive. Okay. Well, if you get the regular range rear wheel drive, it's $5,000 less. So instead of 48, it's 43, $9.99. So it's 49. So it's 44 instead of 49. But if you upgrade to the long range battery, what do you get? You pay $5,000 and you get 50 more miles. 50 more miles. I thought that was pretty terrible. So that's what I'm reporting. So there we go. I'm adjusting the volume of Epidemic. It seems to be competing with me this morning. You can see, I can see my little doodads here going up and down, bouncing. Watch the bouncing ball. Anyway, so 25.50. So it's 49,000 plus one for the black and white interior trim. And we add $1,000 for the tow hitch because we've got something to carry our bikes around so we can ride our bikes somewhere and ride in a. Marilyn gets nervous riding on the road, which of course I do too. But Marilyn had hip surgery, so we're going to take it real easy getting back on the bikes because we are in a no-fall zone. We're not allowed to fall, not with a hip replacement thing or joint replacement. Magical surgery. It's amazing. Estimated 3-year gas savings, $3,600. $100 a month you save, and because you're not buying gas, you're plugging it in. Anyway, so you add $2,000 worth of extras, and you get $2,550 in a price adjustment. So your vehicle price, what we call your capitalized lease cost, line 27 in the what do you call it, is $48,440. And then I went down. They have a lease calculator, and I said, okay, no money down lease. Let's see, 0. I don't know whether they'll do that for me or not, but let's give it a shot. Lease payment is $512 a month. So anyway, the pricing of the car, the purpose in this little gymnastics, is the pricing of the car is very much the same as one of those that I did a couple of weeks ago with the Tesla guy. Oh, there's Marilyn at a charity event with Jody, her co-worker at Seacoast Bank. Marilyn's got her strawberry purse strawberry watch band, strawberry necklace, strawberry earrings, strawberry, what you call them, French chalet hat, pink scarf, of course, or red, I should say. And this one, Jody, she's got French fry purse. Anyway, so that was pretty cool that they're, they were at a charity event up in Palm Beach County, Palm Beach somewhere. Got home about 8:30, something like that. Long day. Trump wins North Dakota. Here's the site for. This is the reason why you do not stay under trees to stay out of the rain. You see this guy way over here? He just got an amazing surprise that you do not stand under, particularly a pine tree. I'm sorry. Got my P's mixed up. Pine tree. Pine needles, pine tree. A lot of pine trees in Florida. And a pine tree, according to Wilbur Brantley, who taught me about, farmlands and being out in the open prairie of Florida. Don't stand under the trees on the golf course. If you're in the middle of a exciting lightning storm like this, it's better to lay down in a canal. Not the wet part, but just in a depression. Make yourself electrically invisible. But if you stand up next to a pine tree, gosh, no, I did it again. Pine. Get out of here, what are we doing? I don't want to see that stuff. I don't want to add a caption. Get out of here. There we go. Rapid fingers here. So I'm going to expand this, and we can see a very exciting, a pine tree has what is known as a tap root. There's a root, some trees, they go, the root structure just spreads out, like a Ficus benjamina, ficus tree. Very shallow roots. But a pine tree, P-I-N-E, pine tree, has a taproot. It goes straight down deep. So that gives an electrical grounding point for that lightning to just, get deep into the soil, deep into the earth. So that's why a pine tree is a very attractive target. And it has, a blunt, it looks blunt to the top, so bam, it hits the tree, and the electrons, millions and millions and billions of electrons, go from the cloud to the earth. If you were standing there, the electrons would come down here and then jump off to you and go through you to the ground. And why would it do that? Because you're made up of about 80% salt water. All the fluids in your body are salty. Salt, sodium chloride, which is the chemical definition of salt, is a white crystalline substance that if you warm water, let's do it this way. Let's have a teaspoon of sugar, and then you got a teaspoon of salt, just to separate. If you take a teaspoon of sugar and put it in a cup of water and you stir it around, and there's still crystalline sugar in the bottom of the cup or the glass or whatever. So if you warm the water, then the rest of the crystals will dissolve into the water. Okay, that's a principle of sugar going into solution in water. So the warmer the water, the more sugar you can get into solution. However, with salt, you have a glass, same thing, teaspoon of water, salt, you put it in the water, you stir it around, and there's crystalline salt on the bottom of the glass. And you take the glass and put it in the microwave and stir it around. You warm it up to, let's say, 100 degrees. Instead of 70 degrees, you increase the temperature of the water by 30 degrees, and you stir again and see if any more salt goes into solution. The answer will be no. Salt, it may dissolve into water faster, but the amount of salt that dissolves does not increase because the temperature increases. And that's, one of the important factors, because we are a salt-based fluid in our body. So if you have a blood test, you're in a hospital, and you need fluids, the concentration of the salt is increasing because the water in your body is decreasing. So they say you're dehydrated. So they put a drip, saline water, and they put that in an IV, and they have that dripping into your blood system, all day long. It gets in there faster than, taking a cup of water. I remember all the trips I've had in the hospital, usually a bronchitis oriented thing, but not lately, not in the last 9 months. I've been very careful. And one of my medical professionals, she has a PhD in nursing. How about that? So she's not only a prescribing nurse, a nurse practitioner, she has a PhD degree combined in the nursing field. She got a doctorate in nursing. I've actually, first person I've met with a doctorate in nursing. So she's on the ball. She's as close to a doctor as you can get, and not having gone through the whole medical school bit. And she suggested, to help with my whole, cardiovascular and your lung and your COPD and all this kind of stuff. She said, let's change us to Breztri. That's a COPD kind of inhaler thing. And it's got 3 chemicals instead of 2, because I was taking Symbicort, for 8 or 10 years. Symbicort. 2 puffs in the morning and 2 puffs at night. Well, I'm doing Breztri. And 2 puffs in the morning, 2 puffs at night. I'm actually reneging a little bit because I'm just doing the 2 puffs, 2 good puffs in the morning only. I'm not doing it at night. And I tell you what, I'm not coughing. I have no signs of COPD. I have a good breath. It's not, wheezy. I have I'll show it to you. Here we are, living color. There we go. Here's my albuterol inhaler. That's a pretty, it has a little doodad here. And you take this thing off, and you breathe in and you push down on that. And it atomizes. I'll spritz it for you. Here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3. You see that? You see a little, yeah. So it's micro particles of albuterol. The active ingredient here is albuterol. But you can probably there you go. Look at that. We got it into focus. Albuterol, yes. This camera up here, I don't think. Let's see, did I order another one of those? Boy, me and my orders. All right. Lumify. Lumify comes on Monday. I apparently. I thought I. This is the manual focus. I thought that sucker got ordered. Move to cart. Let's just see if it shows that I've ordered it recently. Nope, not yet. Anyway, this camera up here is not behaving well. So this camera here is a manual focus. It's the same 60 cycles a second. Doesn't have a light, so I don't have to worry about a light. Is, you know, I'm trying to put it there, but manual. So that way, you know, has a fixed focus, and it just focuses on what you want to do. I can't. I guess I could. I could plug it in this, the port that this thing is in. I could have 3 cameras, but anyway. Let's see what would happen if I do 2 things in the cart. No. No. Just. Anyway, I have to figure out how to get. I don't want to do this. This is a try before you buy. 7 days. Go on, try that. This is, yeah. All right, let's go here. One item check. Okay, only one item to check out. Change payment 162. We want to do that one. Use the points. I thought I did this already. Going. Okay. That's the end of my Amazon.com. Amazon is, I mean, that company is just magical. Anyway, so we talked about lightning. Let's see. I'm just looking at. There was a little news on that Sony announced 2 new CF Express cards, Type B cards, which is a real compact little card. That's, it's not an SD card. It's a very high speed reading and writing because of these high capacity digital cameras that are shooting at 4K at like 60 frames a second. with 16 million colors. I mean, that is a lot of data, an unbelievable amount of bits and bytes involved at 60 frames a second. So, you want to have that, you don't want to have skips. So you want that continuous string of that video and audio going onto the card without the card getting overloaded, and then it stops for a tenth of a second and you have a skip in your, all of a sudden, the guy was here and then all of a sudden he's there. It was a tenth of a second, got chopped out because the card couldn't keep up with the write speed. Well, with a write speed of up to 1,750 megabytes a second, 1,000, that's a gigabyte. That's 1.75 gigabytes a second. That's a lot of, so you got 480 seconds. Do the math. It fills up that 480 gigabyte card really fast when you're writing at 1.7 gigabytes a second. So let's just do a little math here. If we have, let's clear it, 480 divided by 1.75 equals 274 seconds. Okay, divided by 60. That's 5 minutes. Woo! That's it. That's if you're every piece of your video signal is at the absolute tops. So at top speed of 1,700 megabytes a second, you got 5 or 6 minutes, and you're out of gas. So, but the cards run. The video signal runs, like a third of the peak. So that gives you a lot of extra time. So those cards give you, 15 minutes to 30 minutes of recording time. And then you have to stop the camera, pop a card out, put a new card in. That's why if you have like a big speech or something or other, instead of going to the card, you would plug a hard, a drive, a disk drive, a tetrabyte, like this little goo guy here. This is 2 tetrabytes, I think. This is Samsung. If you look at it, you can see there's a little blue light there that's flickering because it backs up the entire system. This entire computer system gets backed up every day, and that blue light is on. Comparing the bits and bytes it has on the disk. As if I turn this light down, can we see the little blue light? Little blue light. I think we can just about see the little blue light, right? Yeah. And the drive is a little warm. We call it a drive because we're so used to calling them drives. There's nothing spinning in there. It's not like an electromagnetic drive where you have a little read head and you got a disk spinning at 4,000 RPM. It's all chips. This is entirely chips, and it's embedded in epoxy, and it's sealed in this aluminum case. It's 2 tetrabytes. So that's 2,000 gigabytes, 1024 1024 gigabytes is a tetrabyte. This is a 2 tetrabyte drive, so there's lots of room for backups. And we have this little thing called Time Machine up here, which you can't see in your window. And this drive has 1.34 tetrabytes available of the 2 terabyte drive. And this is System A, as I call it. It's amazing, this Apple, this MacBook Pro. I just cover up the keyboard just to keep it clean. And this little thin plastic piece of black polyethylene. And since I can brighten up the screen, which you can see, it looks pretty good in the video. And I just plop that over there. Got a little piece of tape there, which doesn't damage anything. Because once I got this set up, I have a remote mouse over here, which controls a little arrow, which I can add and delete things like, we're looking to see, I can just double click on that, and now we have a full screen view of what I was talking about with these drives. Memory cards are 480 gigabytes and 240 gigabytes. We could go to, let's just type BH. There we go, BH photo video. And we can give you a little, let's CF Express Type B. There we go. Let's see what 500 gigabytes. I am bent towards SanDisk. I have a big history with SanDisk. There's a CF Express Pro, a 3-pack. Let's just take the 1-pack. I'm not going to take anything today. We're just looking. This is the top seller right here. This is my favorite card right here. The regular list price is $600 for the card. Can you believe it? They're selling it in New York City for $149. That's why I go to BH Photo Video. See, here's the same thing, maximum reads. See, oh, there we go. So you can see that, yeah. Maximum write speed, 1,400 megabytes a second. That's good enough to handle raw 4K video. It says it right on there. And 4K is 4,100 pixels by 2,100 pixels. Just multiply that by that, you got 8 million pixels. 60 times a second. That's a lot of pixels. Yes, sir. That is, see all the rating at 5. That's one of the best cards in the industry. See, here they have the Sony cards, 300. Look at that, a big deal, $348. But you can get this Extreme Pro SanDisk card for $150. That's a half a tetrabyte, 512. See, if you multiply that by 2, it's 1024. That's what I'm saying. So 1024 is a tetrabyte. So this is a half a tetrabyte. Very nice write speed. The Sony card is a little faster. You can go to 1,700 megabytes per second. You got to be over 1100 megabytes per second in order for not have skipping and so forth, like I was mentioning. But that's a good card. That's how it's packaged. You just slice it open and it's plastic, you know. So it shows right on the packaging, 4K video. Blazing fast speeds that deliver raw 4K video, which has more bits and bytes than the standard video format. We're broadcasting here at 2K, which is actually 1/4 of 4K. Anyway, so you can see we went right to BH Photo. I am a big customer of BH Photo. Yep, there's my continue with Google. Yeah, let's do it. We're logging in just so, I don't know why, just for the heck of it. Continue with that. There we go. No, I'm not going to log in. Let's see, is there anything news with the Real Clear Politics? They probably don't usually have any Thursday, March 7th. That's yesterday. So the most recent polls we have is yesterday. General election, Trump versus Biden. This is a national poll. Biden by 2. This is the General Electric poll. And here we have a General Electric. You can see here. Trump versus Biden with Kennedy is in the mix. And Trump wins by 1. The Minnesota poll. Trump versus Biden. Biden is up by 4. In Indiana, Trump versus Biden, the Hill-Emerson poll. Trump 55, Biden 34. Trump is up by 21. Whew. I guess Trump is strong in Indiana. The 2024 Republican presidential primary. Trump 78, Haley 14. Trump is ahead by 64%. I mean, that's like, lady, you need to just bow out because these wins and losses are just earth-shaking. Earth-shaking. Nice lady. A little, I couldn't imagine her being on my TV every night, quite frankly. She needs to calm down a little bit. She's, you got to be energetic and all that kind of stuff, but, you can't whine. And whining is, it gets tedious and you just end up flipping the channel. Let's tune into the Tesla. Let's see where it is. I can actually see where the Tesla is. So I push this button here where it says location. And there it is. 2300 Glades. Marilyn is parked right in the parking lot. Her office building is right there. Street view. That kind of view. I don't know what that does. Whoops. That shows you where that's a lightning bolt. So this is showing all the charging places that you can fill up. So this is like gas stations, but it's electricity. So see, Marilyn's car is parked right there, and so she can just go right there, and there's a charging spot right there on the second floor. That's the Neiman Marcus building. I call it the Neiman Marcus garage. I don't know what they call it. And you just pull right in there. You go up a ramp. You can see the ramp. That's the ramp that would take you to the roof of that garage. But the chargers are all on the second floor, covered by the third floor. So if it's raining out, you don't get wet. And you plug in, and that is showing that there are 4 available spots. So there's 12 spots. So there are 8 cars in there charging up right now. And Marilyn's car is right there. So it's a very convenient charging spot. So she can, pop in there. She can just go to lunch and, take 45-minute break. Just drive in there. She can answer her email and text messages from her phone. Her business work can be conducted right in the car while she's putting a little, 20 minutes worth of juice in there, which we drive on average 60 miles a day, which is not a lot of miles. Anyway, so the interior temperature is 86 degrees. Cabin overhead protection is on. See right there, cabin overheat protection on, and then I have a choice. Keep it under 90, keep it under 95, or keep it under 100. I have it at 90. Let's go to 95. So, right now the interior temperature is 86. So if the interior temperature of the cabin gets around 90, it'll turn on the air conditioner all by itself and cool down the interior. So when you finally get to your car and you open up the door, you don't have whoosh, this blast of 160-degree air. And of course, then all the furniture inside the car, the seating, is all like blazing hot. So it's a very nice thing. They have, remote climate control in your car, so the car doesn't get to some crazy temperature, damaging stuff you may have in the car, shopping or in the trunk or the hatchback in the back. There's a software update, apparently. I can quick release notes, and it tells me what the software update is. This is minor fixes and improvements. About every 2 weeks, you get minor software. You're constantly tweaking that software package because the software is what controls the car. Yeah. Anyway. So we got off the track here on these compact flash cards. I take my camera takes this kind of card in addition to the SD card. I actually like this card better because it has a faster write speed. Reading it, is just taking the data off the card. So that number is usually bigger, like you can see here. This is read, 1,850 megabytes a second read speed, and the write speed is 1,600 megabits per second. So, which is, fast. But the card is, $400 a piece. But that's a lot of bytes. It's a big card. Apparently Boeing has a plane. There it is. It's called the X-66, an experimental aircraft that it is building through a NASA Sustainable Flight Demonstrator Project. The aircraft is based on a modified MD-90, McDonnell Douglas MD-90 platform. Features diagonal struts known as transonic truss-braced wing concept. So you can see right here that the body of the airplane, there's this strut that goes like from the fuselage up to the wing to hold the wing in place. So instead of the wing being under the plane, the wing is on top of the plane. Notice that. But in order to have enough structural rigidity and to hold on to the fuselage, this connection right here is critical. They have this strut, so you've got basically a triangle giving that wing torsional rigidity as it relates to the fuselage of the aircraft. Anyway, so they're that is a concept that they're working on, and with paired with advancements in propulsion, it could slash fuel consumption and emissions by up to 30%, according to NASA, according to the space agency. So Boeing, and that's how you get ahead. Is you have to keep, sharpening your pencil and doing what you can because you're trying to save on petrol, petroleum products, jet fuel number 2, actually, which is, not that much different from kerosene. A little bit different, a little more refined hydrocarbon than kerosene, but if you poured it out of a can, unless you really knew what you were extremely experienced in fueling jet aircraft, you could hardly know the difference. It's always nice to have a little kerosene in your garage. So you put it on a cloth, and you wipe. If you paint a wall or fix a wall. A little kerosene's a nice product to wipe up over spray if you're spraying paint. Okay, see, this is meet Senator Katie Britt, the 42-year-old Alabama Republican senator, gives the GOP response to Biden's State of the Union. So there she is in the Senate chambers, talking to the Senate. When you think, oh, that's a really when you're when you run for office, you're talking in front of so many groups and in front of so much media. You get very experienced on standing up and speaking in front of people. I've been teaching at FAU for 20 years as adjunct faculty in the College of Science. I've been doing that since the year 2000. Okay, I started off in the continuing education, and FAU did away with continuing education. Save money because apparently I wasn't raising enough money, and they had buildings and instructors like me doing it, although my class was profitable. So they shut it down. So my friend John Harlan said, no problem. Well, you can teach in the Earth Sciences building. We got a classroom there that has computers at every station, every student seat. You can teach up to like 40 or so students. You got 40 computers in there. They're all up to speed. We'll make sure they have the software on there that you need. And I said, Photoshop Express. It's a cheap one. They could buy, a site license for 25 stations for, a few $100. And, they get the site license, and all of a sudden you got Photoshop Express on every computer with the technology that they had. I said, that's it. That's the only software I need, Photoshop Express. Anyway, the big news is the State of the Union address. Oh, by the way, there's a software update. You check your iPhones if you have an iPhone. 14.4. iOS. This is actually the Mac number for. I have a Mac, obviously. This is an iPad, so I would use iOS 17.4. The Mac software, which I've already installed and upgraded, is 14.4. It's a free update. It fixes all kinds of security things, and there's 40 or 50 improvements. They test it like crazy to make sure it's stable and works. Anyway, I have it on my all my Apple products. I've got 1, 2, 3. I've got 4 items right here in front of me. Not counting the MacBook Pro in front of me. Okay. This lady is talking about how you can invest, and optimize your investments, your IRAs. I don't have any news to report on that. Another important thing this weekend, by the way. Hello, TikTok, TikTok. Spring forward. So at 2 a.m. on Sunday morning, we see 2 a.m. twice because at 1 a.m. you turn to 2 a.m. Yeah, so you spring forward 1 hour. Marco Rubio, by the way, has had a bill since 2018. It's been signed by the governor of Florida a long time ago. Went through the legislature and all that. We want daylight savings time 100% of the year. We don't want this turning the clocks forward and backwards. And the bill also says that the entire state of Florida is on the same time zone. So if we turn our clocks forward, he wants them to stay forward. So hopefully, if there is a change in the administration, and if by some leap of faith we would end up with control of the Senate and the House, Rubio would probably get his bill approved. It's already gone through the House. The Senate would, just won't get off its lazy ass to just approve it. It's important. The Congress has to approve, time zone things because it affects everybody in the state and, the states that connect to other states. It's called the Sunshine Protection Act. It keeps the sun shining in Florida longer. It's nice because the evenings are a lot lighter, so when you get home from work, it's not dark and all that kind of stuff. Now, it's dark in the morning, and it's light at night, so I think everyone's just decided in the state of Florida, which I tend to subscribe to this notion, is that there are a lot of people that agree with this legislation, the Sunshine Protection Act. But it hasn't been approved by Congress yet. Both houses have to approve it. So, oops. Got it. Sunshine. There's one more thing here. Let's see, anything else in there? Lock the clock. Twice a year time change. Florida are set to join a majority of the country in turning their clocks ahead 1 hour on Sunday. The Sunshine Protection Act would keep it there. So, when's that going to happen? There's Saturday Night Live, and this young lady, Sydney Sweeney, was plucked from Universal Studios obscurity. Many members of the public have struggled to process her breasts, her boobs. What? They're struggling to process her boobs following her Saturday Night Live hosting gig. A few people have gotten so lost in the sauce that they see Sweeney's boobs as twin prophets of anti-walk revolution. What? I mean, come on. What are you talking about? Apparently she's been in a couple of movies. Euphoria. Sydney Sweeney. Anyway. Little light here at 10:07 a.m. Nearly 70% of the LGBTQ population are likely voters prefer Biden over Trump. The GLAAD poll finds, has determined that. Okay. So there you go. He's preferred by the LGBTQ community. It's hard to say that 3 times fast. Yes, sir. Trading national defense info for cash. Oh. U.S. Army sergeant accused of selling secrets to China. Oh, God. Trading national defense information. There's a stealth. Probably has something to do with the stealth. Or the weapon systems, detection systems. They got systems for their systems in this beauty. It's super fast, and it's very agile, and it's got all kinds of technology. I think it even has. I was talking with my son yesterday afternoon about laser technology. You have a laser. They have laser cannons, on their destroyers. So they see something that's up in the sky. This thing can track. You can have a tracking system on a stupid little drone. Well, made by DJI. I have a little one here. You can be riding your bike and the drone will stay right over your shoulder. As soon as it locks on, you push the lock on button, that thing will follow you until it runs out of power. And then it'll drop out of the sky. But, they have tracking systems that are connected to these, megawatt laser flashlights. They're cannons. I mean, they look like, if you look at it, it looks like a telescope. And has a lens on the front, to protect the laser systems inside from moisture and so forth. But when you push the button, when it's on, aiming at something in the sky, a plane or something, when you push that button, that circle will burn a hole in whatever it is. It'll burn a hole. It'll cut it in half. I mean, it'll incinerate whatever it touches. And if it hits metal, it'll burn a hole right through it. And it's a big hole. It'd be a 8-inch diameter hole. And it's the speed of light, which is 186,000 miles per second. Miles per hour, miles per second. 186,000 miles per second. That's like, for all practical purposes, instantaneous. As soon as you hit that light, that light beam is irradiating the surface of a airplane or something, and it'll burn a hole right in there, cut it in half. And there's no, windage. It doesn't matter how fast the winds are blowing, and it takes no time at all for the light beam to hit the subject. Assuming it's like an airplane or something. So the laser cannons are. So I'm sure they have pulse modulation, or so, and it moves the micro, so it'll take an aircraft down. It'll just fall out of the sky. I mean, it could aim at a satellite up in the and it would disable the satellite, to say the least. It would explode it. So laser is a reality as a weapon system on an airplane. I mean, in theory, you could make it for a rifle. I was telling my son, you get yourself a 10 gauge shotgun and buy a laser light from China, like a 5-watt laser light. Well, let me tell you, a 5-watt laser light, if you push the button on that, it'll burn a hole in a palm tree. Now the hole would be a small hole, but, the size of a silver dollar, let's say. It's a focused light amplification by the stimulated emission of radiation. Laser, LASAR, light amplification by the stimulated emission of radiation. And radiation means the frequency of the light, and it's a single frequency, and that's the way it goes. So here it is. Teach your daughter to shoot. Because a restraining order is just a piece of paper. Interesting story there. It looks like an aim point sight on a carbine of some kind. I'll tell you what, a carbine, I have a few 9mm handguns as protective weapons. I have plus P 9mm ammunition, plus P. That means it has a little extra bounce to the 9mm shell. The shell is the same exact size, just has a little more, or I don't know if it's a little more gunpowder in there, or the formulation is hotter formulation. One way or the other. The bullet comes out of the muzzle about 35% faster if it's a plus P as opposed to not a plus P. Now, if you take that same ammunition and run it through a 16-inch barrel, 16.5-inch barrel, actually, in a carbine, so if you have a rifle that's calibered for a pistol caliber, that's called an RPC rifle, which means that the rifle is calibered for the same cartridge that's used in a semi-automatic handgun. And that's why I have one of those, made by Smith & Wesson. Now, when you shoot a plus P ammunition, which has a normal velocity out of a 6-inch barrel of about 1,350 feet per second, it's printed right on the box. If it's shot out of a 16-inch barrel, that means the compression inside that barrel lasts for longer. So it gives it, a chance to push the bullet out even faster. So instead of 1,350 feet per second, it comes out at, like 2,000 feet per second, which is almost twice the speed of sound. So it becomes a supersonic ammunition instead of a subsonic bullet. So that means the bullet hits the target before the person can even hear the gunfire. So by the time you hear the sound, you've already been hit. That's that's crazy. But anyway, and it's a lot cheaper. So for target practice and just funsies, hitting cans, way out in the middle of nowhere. Um, you wouldn't put plus P's in the rifle. You'd put in just regular 9mm rounds, which costs you about 30 cents a round. If you shoot this high caliber stuff, you really are you going to shoot a tin can with a 5.56 NATO round, which is a big, it's a big shell. I don't think so. Anyway, so here we are. This is my top view right here. It's looking over at my sound panel. I've been on there the hour and 15 minutes. This is a simulcast with 3 social networks, which is a pretty unique thing. And I use Ecamm Live. I don't get any remuneration for mentioning these companies, but Ecamm Live is a great piece of software. I pay like 20 hours a month, for the software. They update it, every 3 or 4 weeks with improvements and fine tuning, and people, write emails to the company saying that you got to do this and you got to do that. There, you see my watch. There you go. There it is. 10:18 a.m. I got analog and digital. Oops. Yeah, there you go. Whoa. There's a reflection of delayed broadcast. You can see our little logo that we have here on the mic on this super duper KSM 8. It is one of the best microphones ever made by the Shure company. I love it. It knows how to pick up. It can pick up all the sounds in an accurate reproduction of your voice, and it goes right into the 3 networks: Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and Twitter Live. So all 3 of those networks have this broadcast on right now. You could actually call in at 561-416-1100, and we can get right on the broadcast. We say hello and this and that and the other thing, and if you want to, talk, we'll put it on speakerphone. I have a way to Bluetooth the phone right into panel, the 5th panel here. I didn't Bluetooth it because I don't get a lot of calls. Anyway, I should have my son or Marilyn or somebody call in when I'm brought just to check it out and make sure that all systems are go for answering a call on a live broadcast. But I broadcast here from my little studio here in downtown Boca Raton. We have a den, and I've marked off. It's 2 feet deep and 8 feet wide. It goes all the way to that wall, and it goes back this way. So it's actually 2 feet of desktop, and then followed by about 5 feet of floor space. So I've got a multifunction color laser printer by Brother. That's a spectacular printer. It cost me $400 a few years ago. It's like $1,000 printer today. But it takes, 4 cartridges, CMYK, cyan, magenta, yellow, K is black. CMYK. Have you ever seen those letters? Those are the four colors that are mixed to produce, whatever you print in color, whether it's a photograph or textual. Anyway, so that's my little office here. I got a big trash can in that corner. I'll show you this is my latest. Of course, you can't see it with all the stuff I got going here. This is a device that holds my iPhone. You can't really see it because this microphone is in the way. So, when you're taking videos or taking pictures, at some kind of event, you put your phone in there and you take your pictures and you hold on to it instead of, having your, it gives a lot steadier. It's such a different experience when you're taking pictures. And the iPhone is such a spectacular, capturing device for video and audio. So that little bracket that costs like $50, I think, made by Newer, is a great thing to have. Let's get the spelling of Newer correct. There it is. I can show you right there. You see, Newer, Neewer, Neewer. You can just Google that. Newer bracket for iPhone. It's on the end of this thing right here too. The end of the handle, Newer. See, the focus is on this microphone, so when I bring up something like that, look how nice sharp focus that's in. If I turn this light, I would just playing a little bit. Turn that light up a little bit. I got studio lighting in there. Yeah, very nice. There's my Newer bracket. You can see it in live color. I got a little doodad on the bottom so that, just walking, you can hold this. You can put other attachments on here. I have a thing here so I can put a microphone on this clip. I happen to have a very good, highly directional corduroy microphone, so it just brings in sound just with about a 15-degree angle in front of you. So if you're interviewing somebody, you aim that microphone, just like I have this microphone aimed at, this is like, when you get your teeth x-rayed, this is what, it's like, it aims right at your throat down here, yeah, quite a microphone. Newer, Neewer. Just put Newer in there, an iPhone 15 Pro, Max, whatever. It'll handle any iPhone. It'll handle any Android phone also, quite frankly. All right. We're on here. My God, an hour and 20. I can talk all day long. My wife says, Jimmy, you can talk all day long. I can. Here's a little device here that I got all my cameras and stuff are connected in there. Whoops. and yeah, it's very, very sensitive. So you could jiggle it too much, everything goes off. So, whoops. All right, so since the lights just went out, oh God, silly thing. Oof. So we're going to call it quits here. There we go. Now we're back. I had to unplug and plug it back in. There's something a little unstable about, I don't know what's going on here. We need to switch those plugs around a little bit. So that it's not overheating. I just think these USB-A plugs are just, a little funky, when they get a little older. So anyway, so we're going to say good morning. Have a good morning. It's 10:26 a.m. on March 8th. It's Friday. And this is the weekend. You turn your clocks ahead. Basically, Sunday morning at 2 a.m. is the official. So at 1 a.m., or I think at 2 a.m., it goes to 3 a.m. So, spring forward. So I think that would be losing an hour of sleep, so to speak. So just go to bed earlier. That's all. Anyway, so before all the Apple products, the time change is automatic. You'll have to go to your microwave oven. I have a range, in the kitchen. Very nice glass top range. It's still set on daylight savings time, so on Sunday it's the time is going to be correct until hopefully we don't turn it back. Senator Rubio can figure out how to get that passed through the Senate. Is the problem. It's already been approved, I think, through Congress, um, and there's no reason not to have it. Everybody in Florida wants it. The entire Florida legislature, I think, voted unanimously to leave, to have you know, the Sunshine State be sunshine longer. it's, uh, it's safer to have it lighter at night, particularly for, you know, these kids, so if it's light out longer, it helps law enforcement and everything. So, the Sunlight Protection Act is sitting up there in Congress collecting dust, and Senator Rubio is going to try to push that through somehow. I think it's already through the House. It has to get through the Senate. Um, anyway, but since we're a red state, no one in the government wants to, they're a bunch of Republicans. The hell with them. They want daylight savings time. Hell, we'll turn the clocks back 2 hours. I'm just kidding. All right, so look, you all have a great day, and I've got to, So we're gonna wrap this puppy up. I'm gonna give you Epidemic, and turn it up a little bit and turn down this microphone because you've heard enough of Jimmy for today. Maybe I do this tomorrow morning. Who knows? I'd like to do 6 days a week. I'm doing every morning at 9 o'clock, and it's going to be 9 o'clock exactly. You can set your watch on it. I got all this technology here. 9 o'clock's going to be our time. All right. See you tomorrow.